this is it. It's going to be the championship game, the Mad Rollin' Dolls season championship about to begin between the Quad Squad and the Vaudeville Vixens.
That's right. I'm Dolly Pardon Me, joined here by Bryant Mumble.
Yes.
We just heard introductions from Bob Noxious and Rich Mahogany, our in-house announcers. But thanks for tuning in to see the Mad Rollin' Dolls. You're watching our championship bout of our 13th season.
Can you believe it's been that long? 13
I
years of
cannot
roller
believe
derby.
it.
One of the oldest leagues in all of roller derby. The Mad Rollin' Dolls right here in Madison, Wisconsin at the Alliant Energy Center. We're about to see the main event.
That's right, the championship bout tonight, where the Quad Squad, they are the season champions from last year, are taking on the Vaudeville Vixens. Now, the Vaudeville Vixens and the Quad Squad met in the season championships last year, and it was a close, well-fought game, Brian.
They did play this year as well. On January 7th, the Vaudeville Vixens were victorious, 186 to 141. Kind of a decent victory for the Vaudeville Vixens, but somewhat close in roller derby terms.
It is close in roller derby terms, and I think last year the Quad Squad maintained, I believe their season was undefeated. This year I think the Vixens are. But right now we're getting to the action. We've got Black Velvet jamming in pink for the Vixens, going up against Hammer Abbey jamming in green for the Quad Squad.
Black Velvet quickly out for lead jammer status, looking to get the first points of the game here for the Vaudeville Vixens.
And Black Velvet through the pack there.
5 points so far for Black Velvet, looking to score more. She is your lead jammer. You see she's being pointed to by the referee, indicating lead jammer status.
That's right, so she can call off the jam at any point in time. The 5 points that she scored is a grand slam, and that's when she passes all 4 points for the blockers as well as that jammer. So she takes a turn around that track again, calls off that jam, and starts the Vixens off with a quick 10-point lead.
Just what Vaudeville Vixens wanted here to start out on a nice note there. As we'll have the next jam, we'll have Shantastic McAwesome lining up for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink, and that'll be Gouda Riddens lining up for the Quad Squad, the superheroes in green.
That's right, Brian. Each team has kind of a theme, and the Quad Squad are your superheroes. The Vaudeville Vixens are kind of a vaudeville troupe of all kinds of qualified and skilled skaters. Right now, Shantastic McAwesome trying to fight her way through the Quad Squad blocking wall there in the back. Meanwhile, Gouda Riddens is up in front trying to get past the Vixen blockers. Out there on the track blocking for the Vixens, we've got One Hit Wanda, Poppy Go Lucky, Lemon Dropkick, and Kenna Vendetta. But Gouda Riddens gets right through that pack and picks up lead jammer status for the Quad Squad.
Quad Squad looking to get their first points of the game as we see Gouda Riddens trying to make her way through the pack on a scoring pass.
So for you viewers out there, that first pass is going to be what determines which jammer is lead jammer. They get to call off the jam at any point in time. Then the next passes are point scoring passes, and jammers score a point for each opposing blocker that they pass.
We were in a power jam as Shantastic McAwesome went to the penalty box. So for a while there, the Quad Squad were the only team to have a jammer on the track, and they're taking advantage here as the Quad Squad get their first 5 points of the game.
We've still got a long period left to go, the first period, and then we'll have a second period as well. Quad Squad, though, on the board with 5 in that last jam by Gouda Riddens, keeping the Vixens to 0 that last jam.
We'd like to thank Hinckley Productions. Game coverage brought to you by Hinckley Productions, leading the way in live HD video streaming and professional commercial video production, supporting the Dolls in Derby since 2008.
Thank you for joining us here. Next up on the jammer line, we're going to see Eleanor Roosevelt jamming for the Quad Squad in green, jamming against, looks like number 65, Blanche Devereaux, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink.
Each team forming their walls, trying to hold off the jammers I hear a whistle blow out there. A Vaudeville Vixen member going to the penalty box in the quad squad. They get lead jammer status for Eleanor Roosevelt.
And Eleanor Roosevelt, a transfer up from Chicago. She is on the quad squad for the first time, I believe this season is her rookie year. Blanche Devereaux now getting through the pack. She's eligible to score points, but it looks like Eleanor Roosevelt through the pack picks up 4 points for the quad squad. And she calls off that jam before the Vixens can score any points.
So it was a 1-point game here going into our 4th jam, I do believe.
And this game, I feel, is going to be close like the other games that have been played between the Quad Squad and the Vaudeville Vixens this year. Very evenly matched teams picking up, a win, but just with a few points there.
We'll have Dark Horse now for the Quad Squad in green, and Jocelyn Hell is the jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. And we have the lead jammer.
Lead jammer is the Quad Squad's Dark Horse.
Looking to take the lead here on this jam. She can do so with this pass.
And the Quad Squad holding back Jocelyn Hell as Dark Horse makes her way through the pack past all blockers and the jammer, picking up a grand slam and 5 more points for the Quad Squad. Dark Horse, they're blocking right into the Vixen blocker wall as she approaches that pack. Trying to make her way through, she finds an inside lane and picks up another grand slam and 5 more points for the Quad Squad.
And the Vaudeville Vixens isolating on one of the blockers for the Quad Squad. The pack has to stay within 20 feet of each other to engage. Like all the blockers have to stay within 20 feet to engage another skater. So you'll see different strategies to slow the pack down or speed it up.
And you'll oftentimes see one pack holding back the jammer, and then right behind them the other pack holding back the other jammer. So they've got to make sure they're within that engagement distance. But it looks like there was a star pass from Jocelyn Hell to the pivot on the Vixens, feminine hijinks. Now hijinks becomes that jammer that can score points, but it looks like the Quad Squad jammer, Dark Horse, they're called off that jam before she could do so.
That was a big jam for the Quad Squad, opening up the lead 24-10. They take their first lead of the game. We'd like to thank DJ Larson of Saturn 8 Entertainment, providing the soundtracks for the people of Madison with Retro Flair and Modern Edge Saturn 8 Entertainment.
Without our sponsors, we can't play this wonderful game of roller derby. We also can't play without our wonderful officials and non-skating officials.
Thank you for watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls here in Madison, Wisconsin. And as we come back, we're going to have the Pied Typer will be the jammer for the Quad Squad when we get back to the action here, as it seems like we're in a timeout here.
Well, that gives us a chance to thank another one of our sponsors, Ian's Pizza, proud sponsor of the Mad Rollin' Dolls. They have 2 downtown locations on 100 State Street next to the Capitol and 319 North Francis near the Kohl Center. Both locations are open late. Downtown delivery is available.
And we're getting ready for the next jam. It's going to be the Pied Typer against Dalek Doll.
And I believe it's pronounced Dalek Doll.
You're right.
Like
it
the
is
Daleks in
Jammer. Jamming. All right.
Dalek Doll is jamming. She is trying to exterminate the competition. But it looks like Pied Typer is also going to try and make her way through the pack there. Both jammers getting some tight defense from the opposing teams. Both jammers getting knocked to the outside and kind of recycled to the back of the pack, but getting right back in. Dalek Doll getting out of the pack first there, and she is your lead jammer for this jam.
We see in the pack that Pied Typer still in the mix, now clears. She had a star pass to the pivot. The Brokeback Jack is now the jammer for the Quad Squad, as we've already had a scoring pass from Dalek Doll.
And Dalek Doll calling off that jam as she sees Brokeback Jack approaching the pack. A lot of times you'll see that jammer call off the jam after she's just gotten through and scored 4 points before the opposing jammer can score any points. That allows your team to pick up those 4 points and keep the other team from scoring.
Right, you are, Dolly, pardon me.
So we've got the Vaudeville Vixens with 14 points now. Quad Squad in the lead with 24 points, but still over 22 minutes in this first period. So it's anybody's game. This game can go back and forth a lot in the next 22 minutes.
Numbers come, scores, points come in bunches, as now we have Black Velvet for the Vaudeville Vixens and Hammer Abby for the Quad Squad in green. And Black Velvet is your lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Black Velvet around the track as Hammer Abby still trying to fight past the last Vixen on the track there, a magnitude 10. Hammer Abby gets past that pack just as Black Velvet, it looks like, is called off to the penalty box for a cutting the track penalty.
So it's possible she scored before she went to the penalty box, but we won't know until later as Hammer Abby picks up a 5-point grand slam. And looking for more, we're going to go the full 2 minutes in this jam as Black Velvet lost her lead jammer status when she went to the penalty box to serve her 30-second penalty.
That's right, and now Hammer Abby and the Quad Squad have a power jam, but that also means that the Vixens are able to just focus on defense only. They don't have to worry about helping their jammer through, and you see a magnitude 10 as well as it looks like lemon drop kick up in the front there. They're called off from blocking Hammer Abby because they're out of that zone of engagement.
And one of their blockers went to the penalty box because she was too far outside of the zone of engagement, the 20-foot zone there.
Well, that's as long as you can keep engaging that jammer, then you got to let her go.
4 points going up for Black Velvet and the Vaudeville Vixens.
And I believe this is the first jam of the game where both teams are scoring points. Up till now, we've seen one team score points and then the other team score points, call off that jam before either one was able to do so.
So it's been kind of a free-for-all jam, and it's continuing to be so. You got 8 so far for the Vaudeville Vixens, and we see Hammer Abby getting through for another 4 points, 14 so far for the Quad Squad. And that's going to end the jam after 2 minutes of play. A big jam there. It ends up going in favor of the Quad Squad as they lead by 16.
But you'll see a lot went on during that jam. A lot of defense on the part of both teams. One jammer went to the penalty box and then got back on the track. So you've got a lot of simultaneous offense and defense that these skaters are having to play on the track, knowing when to call it off, when they don't have the ability to call it off after they've gone to the penalty box. And now we're going to see Shantastic McAwesome jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens. She's going to take on Gouda Riddance jamming for the Quad Squad in green.
You see the Quad Squad recycling that jammer from the Vaudeville Vixens back. If you knock them out of bounds, the skater has to come in behind anyone that was in front of them when they got knocked out of bounds. As we get a lead jammer for the Quad Squad, Gouda Riddance.
Gouda Riddance able to take advantage of getting that lead jammer as her blockers on defense were helping by holding back that Vixen jammer. Now Gouda Riddance in the pack again, trying to score points as Shantastic McAwesome is just out of the pack. Gouda Riddance through the pack and calls off the jam. And it looks like she'll pick up a couple of points and leave the Vixens with 0 of that last jam.
Making that a 19-point game. We'd like to thank One Barrel Brewing Company, 2001 Atwood. It's tasty.
That it is.
I haven't had it yet. I'm going to have to check that
out.
out.
Well, you'll have to, yeah. You're in from out of town, and we want to thank you
out of town, yes,
for helping us out on this broadcast announce, Bryant Mumble.
We have a jam going on now. We got Eleanor Roosevelt for the Quad Squad and Blanche Devereaux for the Vaudeville Vixens, and the crowd erupts for Blanche Devereaux, who gets lead jammer status.
Oh, she's everybody's friend. She always thanks us for being her friend, you know. But Blanche around the track now, approaching the pack. She picks up a couple points. It looks like maybe just 1 point, calls off that jam quick before the Quad Squad can pick up any points. So that was a really quick jam there by Blanche Devereaux. She does pick up lead jam, and now we're going to start off another one with Dark Horse jamming for the Quad Squad in green. going up against Jocelyn Hell, jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink.
I believe one blocker down. You see a blocker standing in the penalty box. If someone's standing in the penalty box, that means they have under 10 seconds remaining on their penalty. And we're underway in the jam.
Quad Squad recycling Jocelyn Hell to the back of the pack. That looks like to be Allie Gator, as Dark Horse is trying to make her way past that last Vixen blocker. She does so and picks up lead jammer status for the Quad Squad. You hear a lot of fans and, you know, a lot of excitement about this game as these teams are taking each other on for the championship. And it looks like they kind of stopped there at on the track, strategically waiting to hold off the blocker that's coming. It looks like Quad Squad blocker, Dark Horse, sent to the penalty box for a track cut penalty.
She was the jammer, so this is a power jam now for the Vaudeville Vixens. As Dark Horse, I believe, was lead jammer, so now we're going to go the full 2 minutes. As the Vaudeville Vixens just scored 5 points there for that pass. 10 so far in the jam.
That's right, so this gives Jocelyn Hell an advantage. Even though Dark Horse was the lead jammer, she's now been sent to the penalty box, and the jam will go the full amount of time, with Jocelyn Hell able to score as many points as she can until Dark Horse gets back on that track, which she is now, trying to score more points as well. So Jocelyn Hell picks up another grand slam, 5 more points for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Dark Horse quickly through for a scoring pass. 15-4 in the jam in favor of the Vixens so far, as both jammers coming on up for another scoring pass.
And just as Jocelyn Hell is held in the pack, it looks like Dark Horse approaches, knocked to the outside and pulled back by Whiskey Chaser. Now she's trying to fight her way past the Vixen blockers in the back. And it looks like Thrill Show recycling to the back behind that pack, Jocelyn Hell, Vixen jammer. You're going to see a lot of that recycling as the blockers try to slow down the jammer and keep her from scoring points.
And a very nice jam there for the Vaudeville Vixens, narrowing the gap, a 17-8 jam, just a 9-point game. Thank you so much for watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls here in Madison, Wisconsin.
That's right. I forget that we have that.
And then we come back with another jam here. We're going to have Dalek Doll jamming against Pied Piper for the Quad Squad in green. And Dalek Doll is lead jammer.
Dalek Doll out first. She will have the opportunity to call this jam off whenever she wants to. Pied Piper still fighting her way through, trying to get past the Vixen defensive wall out there. We've got Neon Arzek, Bonnie Riot, Donna Stunner, and Feminine Hijinks blocking for the Vixens. Meanwhile, Dalek Doll trying to get past the Quad Squad blockers, KY Julie, Hazer, Conan the Librarian, and Kentucky Fried Carnage. Both teams really putting out some hard-hitting defense and throwing in a little bit of offense as well when they can. Dalek Doll able to pass by the Quad Squad blockers there, picks up a 5-point grand slam.
One more pass will retake the lead for the Vaudeville Vixens. Let's see if Dalek can take advantage here. She gets sent to the inside and recycled back by the Quad Squad.
And you can see that Pied Piper jamming for the Quad Squad is trying to pass and just did her jammer star to the pivot. The pivot is Hazer. The Hazer puts on that jammer star, and now she will become the jammer for the Quad Squad. But it looks like Dalek Doll calls off that jam before Quad Squad is able to score any points.
Just 2 more points there for the Vaudeville Vixens on that pass. So still a 2-point game. The Quad Squad maintain the lead. Hey, I'd like to thank Our Lives Magazine, serving Madison and Wisconsin's LGBT and XYZ community for 10 years. Out 6 times yearly and available for free by mail subscription or at various locations throughout Madison and Milwaukee, online at ourlivesmadison.com.
And back to the action, we've got Black Velvet jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink against Hammer Abbey jamming for the Quad Squad in green. Black Velvet out to the front there with the Quad Squad blocking wall, but she gets past that, and Black Velvet is your lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens.
Black Velvet with 18 points so far in this game, looking to add to her total in this jam. As Hammer Abby, is that Hammer Abby? Yes.
That is Hammer Abby.
Clears the pack on her initial pass, so she'll be eligible to score if Black Velvet doesn't call it off.
And Brokeback Jack trying to hold back Black Velvet, but she gets out, calls off the jam, but it looks like Hammer Abby.
The huge apex jump.
That's right. She got that jump off and landed it before the jam was called off. So she did pick up 4 points as well, and that's a tie jam.
And it's important to note that the jam does not end until the 4th whistle blast from the referee. So you might be tapping your hips to to call it off, but it's not over until that referee whistles for the 4th time.
It's not over until the 4th whistle blows. Now we've got Shantastic McAwesome jamming in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens, going up against Gouda Riddance jamming in green for the Quad Squad.
We got a lead jammer already for the Quad Squad. Gouda Riddance trying to protect that lead for the Quad Squad. Just a 2-point game here.
Oh, and Gouda Riddance taking to the outside there, but gets right back through on the inside line, picks up her 4 points and calls off that jam. Vaudeville Vixens unable to score on that last jam. And it's a lot of back and forth here. Quad Squad now with the 6-point lead over the Vaudeville Vixens.
We'd like to thank the Malt House, Madison's Craft Beer Oasis. The Malt House. Thank you much.
We've got Eleanor Roosevelt jamming for the Quad Squad in green, going up against Blanche Devereaux jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens in pink.
As we begin here, it's wall versus wall, 3 brace walls. And then we got a lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. It goes to Blanche Devereaux.
That's right, Blanche Devereaux playing this year with the Vaudeville Vixens.
We've had a star pass for the Quad Squad. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No problem. In years past, Blanche Devereaux has been a member of the Quad Squad, but that was several seasons ago. So I don't know that a lot of the skaters that she's playing against have been those that have been her teammates. But
so that jam ends up being 3-1 in favor of the Vaudeville Vixens. At 1 point for Brokeback Jack, who was the pivot, became jammer from the star pass.
Awesome. And now lining up on the jammer line, we've got Jocelyn Hell jamming for the Vixens in pink, up against Dark Horse jamming for the Quad Squad in green.
And we're underway, a very tumultuous pack out there. We get a cutting the track penalty on the jammer for the Quad Squad, Dark Horse, so a power jam opportunity, big opportunity to take the lead here for the Vaudeville Vixens and Jocelyn Hell.
Jocelyn Hell also given lead jammer status in this jam. She and the Vixens will have a power jam, and she just twirls around that inside line, picking up a 5-point grand slam.
Nice move from Jocelyn
That
Hell.
was a nice move, and she's around the track again, getting right through that pack. Slick as can be, bringing the Vaudeville Vixens up another 10 points there. She got 5 points earned on that last pass, in addition to the previous 5.
They're taking the lead here and then extending the lead. Nice maneuver in by Jocelyn Hell.
Yeah, you can see her kind of dancing her way out of the pack and turning around. Just great skills on the part of a lot of these jammers as well as blockers. They practice 3 times per week, if not more. Spend a lot of their time strengthening muscles they need to play this game. And Jocelyn Hell calls off that jam after scoring 18 points for the Vixens, bringing them into the lead, 73. Quad Squad with 58. Quad Squad's kept scoreless in that last jam.
That could be a huge momentum shift here as the Vaudeville Vixens take the lead in a big way. A big 18-point jam, and Dalek Dahl going to try to keep the momentum going, and Hammer Abby trying to get things back on track. She's got 19 points so far in this game.
Dalek Dahl jamming in pink with 11 points this game so far. And a lot of times those points are scored when, like Jocelyn Hell in that last jam, get that power jam opportunity.
We're seeing these brace walls from the defenses here. You can brace, but there's like you can't, if the engagement zone gets hit, like if you can't link, there is like a red rover penalty, a multiplayer block.
That's right. And it looks like Hazer is lead jammer for the Quad Squad. I'm sorry, Hammer Abby is lead jammer. Hammer Abby and Hazer sometimes looking alike in their helmets. But Hammer Abby there, the jammer, now making her way through the pack. And yes, you see those Vixens wall up again, trying to brace one another. Hammer Abby just makes her way with them, getting through there and picking up another 4 points.
And on the power jam, they're going to freeze Dalek Doll in the penalty box. They call off the jam, so they'll start the next jam with Dalek Doll for the Vaudeville Vixens in the penalty box. That was a very nice answer to that big jam from the previous jam. Vaudeville Vixens had the 18-point jam. Quad Squad now answer it with a 10-point.
Yeah, 10-point jam. And they're going to have the advantage in the next jam to start without the Vaudeville Vixen jammer.
We'll see.
It does look like Dalek Doll is standing in the penalty box, so that means she's got less than 10 seconds. And that'll give Dark Horse a chance here, as well as the Quad Squad, to try and help her offensively get through that pack.
Dalek Doll is out of the penalty box. Both jammers on the track. No one has lead jammer status yet. Dark Horse near the front. She is lead jammer for the Quad Squad.
Meanwhile, Dalek Doll in the back, being held back by by Brokeback Jack and Thrill Show. They are just holding her back and trying to recycle her as far back as they can, as Dark Horse makes her way around the track, picking up a Grand Slam for the Quad Squad, and she's headed back into the pack and through again for more points. Donna Stunner and One Hit Wanda out there trying to hold back Dark Horse, with Bonnie Riot and Feminine Hijinks blocking for the Vixens, but Dark Horse makes her way through, picking up another.
And the Quad Squad retake the lead here. Back and forth they go. This is a heck of a match so far.
That's right, Bryant. Back and forth. It looks like we've got a star pass on the Vaudeville Vixens. Dalek Doll passing the star to the pivot, Feminine Hijinks. Feminine Hijinks now becoming the jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens. But Dark Horse calling off that jam after picking up 12 points. Vixens with 1.
It's like back and forth they're going here. This is so fun to watch. The team takes a hit and then they respond. And we'll see if the Vaudeville Vixens can respond now, as they lost the lead here. Then we're going to have Black Velvet jamming for the Vaudeville Vixens up against Gouda Riddance now. Gouda Riddance.
Gouda Riddance. Gouda Riddance trying to find an inside line. Black Velvet around the outside, going past the last to pass there. The pivot, Hazer on the Quad Squad. Black Velvet is your lead jammer for the Vaudeville Vixens, and they did come back with that answer in terms of the lead jammer. Let's see what Black Velvet and the Vixens can do now. It looks like the Vixens holding back Gouda Riddance from being able to get out of the pack. That allows Black Velvet to sweep around the track, get through the pack again, and pick up 5 points for the Vaudeville Vixens.
I lost Gouda Riddance. Is she in the penalty box right now?
It looks like Gouda Riddance has gone to the penalty box. You are correct. She is now in the penalty box. It looks like she's standing from the penalty box, so she'll be back in shortly. Another skater on the Quad Squad, another blocker sent to the penalty box.
We see Gouda Riddance holding the star. That's what threw me.
That's
She's holding
right.
the star.
As Black Velvet makes her way through that pack again, Gouda Riddance stuck in the back behind the Vaudeville Vixens wall, trying to make her way through on that first pass. It looks like the penalty happened then, so once she gets through, that will just be her first pass through the pack. So Black Velvet and the Vaudeville Vixens really taking advantage of this.
They certainly have. They've answered big, a big 15-point jam here for Black Velvet. We have had a star pass for the Quad Squad. Hazer is now the jammer for the Quad Squad.
And Black Velvet calling off that jam just as Hazer approaches. You see Black Velvet kind of waiting, looking to see where the opposing jammer is, and then calling that jam right as she is trying to, or right as she's approaching that pack. So uses the time as well as her position on the track. But the Vixens now with the lead, 11-point lead on the quad squad in that 17-point jam. Last jam they answered back.
We're underway here once again.
And we've got Hammer Abby jamming for the quad squad in green up against Shantastic McAwesome jamming for the Vixens in pink. Shantastic McAwesome trying to make her way up. She gets held back on the outside line there. But it looks like, oh, Hammer Abby out of the pack first. She's your lead jammer for the quad squad. Shantastic McAwesome held up on that inside line, trying to get past Alligator. And she gets past Kentucky Fried Carnage and is out of the pack now, but Hammer Abby around the track and now trying to score as many points as she can in this pass. She calls off that jam after she picks up 4 points for the quad squad.
They narrow that gap. They answer again, narrowing the gap to just can't do math. 7-point game just here. We'll see if
it's getting so close. And we want to thank you for watching and joining us here to watch the Mad Rollin' Dolls. We want to thank one of our sponsors as well, Super Duper, offering digital offset letterpress and hand silk screen printing. And we specialize in CD and DVD packaging and manufacturing.
We've got Gouda Riddens here for the quad squad and Blanche Devereaux.
Blanche jamming in pink for the Vaudeville Vixens, and it looks like Gouda Riddens. I'm sorry. Is that Gouda Riddens, or is that?
It's not.
It looks like Dark Horse. Yep, again, Dark Horse and Gouda Riddens.
Okay.
They do look alike as well. From our vantage point, at least here as broadcast announcers. But we've got Gouda Riddens getting through that pack. Not Gouda Riddens, I'm sorry, Dark Horse. Yes. Calling off that jam after she picks up a quick 3 points for the quad squad. Gets them closer to that score of the Vaudeville Vixens, 91. Quad squad with 87 points. We've still got just under a minute left in this first period, but we've got a whole nother period to go.
We do.
Before it's determined who wins that Leg of Champions trophy.
And we still have another jam in this half. It's going to be Jocelyn Hell against Brokeback Jack. I believe starting the jam for the first time with the star. She's taken a few star passes, but this is the first time she's starting the jam as the jammer.
And Brokeback Jack trying to fight her way through. She gets out and gets lead jam for Quad Squad. And just look at how low she skates. Brokeback Jack, really a great skater, using her technique, her agility to try and get through there. But the Vixens making it hard for her. She gets past 3, calls off the jam.
Good hustle from Jocelyn Hell. She got a point in there, and I think it's I see 3 for the Quad Squad.
And 1 for the Vixens, that last jam. That'll bring the quad squad up to 90 points. Vaudeville Vixens just in the lead with 2 points. And we're going to go to the halftime.
What a great first half that was.
What a great first half. Thank you again. You're watching the Mad Rollin' Dolls Championship bout of Season 13.